Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liquidity Narrative. This is our weekly liquidity narrative map for the week. Remember, we always say this, the objective is not prediction, no, not at all. And the objective is not to predict the price closing. No. But apparently, the objective is for us to help you identify where liquidity is. So, this is US Tech, which is Nasdaq. Starting with that, let's dive in. What's our narrative for the week? Is Nasdaq. This is the 5th of July, Sunday 5th of July. Let's see what we have in Nasdaq starting from the higher time frame. Remember the objective, not for prediction, but helping you identify where liquidity sits and how maybe probably to take advantage of it or aid you in your decision making. That having been said, this is US Tech and we are really on the weekly. As you can see, this is what we had as of last week. Price traded into the zone where we are expecting price to apparently respect this gap on the weekly time frame. Price traded into it and got to an order block on the daily time frame, which was this level, respected the order block, and also closed respecting the gap which it's created before now on the weekly time frame. So having seen that, what's our narrative? What are we looking at? What's our expectation on Nasdaq this week, commencing on the 5th of July? So dropping to the daily time frame, this is what we had as a Friday price, like we said, has traded into um an order block on the daily time frame, surpassing the gap on the weekly time frame, and then dropping back as at Wednesday, Thursday, and this is what we had as a Friday. So in our narrative, what are we looking at for Nasdaq? Like we said, if we drop on a lower time frame, or probably let's still continue with the daily time frame, what are we expecting price to do? Price traded down after reaching the order block on the daily time frame and traded down. So we want to see price going back a little bit to respect this order block also on the daily time frame, which is this level, and also fill this fair value gap which it created between the Wednesday and the Friday candle before we see a more drop. So our narrative is like we want to see price selling more this week, or probably, but it might get to this level, fill this fair value gap. It has a room to also get to this level. So, but our eyes remain on this level to see what price is going to do on this fair value gap. So we are looking for more of a sell in Nasdaq. That's our narrative. So if we drop more on a lower time frame, using apparently the one hedge, or maybe using the 15-minute time frame, which is the lower time frame we normally use. Let's see exactly what we are looking at. Here we are on one hedge. Let's drop more on the 15-minute time frame, making it even more clearer for us. So like we said, we want to see price getting back to this level, respecting the order block on the daily time frame, but where then lies liquidity. That having been said, we are looking at this area, also a fair value gap price, respecting the fair value gap on the daily time frame and the order block on the daily time frame to act as a resistance for us. So liquidity pools lies on that level. But price has room to get to this level also, which is another liquidity pool using our lower time frame, or may actually get to this level, which might act as an area of liquidity pool. What can you see here? What we normally call maybe double top. So liquidity lies on this level. We want to see price respecting the zone first and give us a reason to sell. But if level is not going to hold for us to sell, price might return to this level because institutional order flow, it's somewhere here. So we are looking at this level as the major place on the higher time frame for us to think of selling. But price, remember, this is Nasdaq, which is US tech, has a way of um running a huge liquidity. It might get to this place, it might not, but keep our eyes on this level that we've mapped out for us to sell Nasdaq unless price continue beyond this level. but our eyes remain on this other block on the daily time frame, fair value gap on the daily time frame as our major area of liquidity pool for us to sell Nasdaq, and maybe it could get to this level because it has a huge reason to always run liquidity in a huge way. That's Nasdaq. And here, what is here, this is a level on the daily time frame, is a gap which might act as a resistance. So what are the things you need to look at? Look at if price regime and continue to go up. We want to see price respecting the level we've mapped out on the higher time frame. Respecting this level as a fair value gap and other block is our main focus. It might get to this level before it continues to drop. But whereby price open and started to run down, keep your eyes on this level. It might react as a support to take the price higher to the level we've mapped out. So these are the area we are watching at on Nasdaq, which is US Tech this week, to give us a trade. But like we said, we are more of a sell if price respects this level that we mapped out. And until then, we do nothing. That's respecting structure over speculation, not just opinion. So these are the areas we are watching at on Nasdaq repeatedly. We said it because we are watching this level on Nasdaq to give us a reason to continue to sell the trade. But if market regime get to this level, give it reason to hold and continue to go up before going down. This is what we look out and our narrative on Nasdaq. Remember, we are using structure over speculations. Trade what's the map and not people's opinion. All right, the next on our list. That's it for Nasdaq. So here we are on British pound USD, and remember we always said it's not price prediction. We are not predicting price. We are just mapping out liquidity. No, don't want to leave the side, mapping out liquidity and choosing to trade structure over speculation and not the opinions out there. Like we've said on Nasdaq, we've been able to narrate what we are looking at, what our narrative is on Nasdaq. So what is it that we are looking at on British pound USD this week? So as at last week, this is what we had on British pound USD. Price traded, and we're expecting price to apparently respect this other block, and price apparently traded a little bit above that other block. What does that mean for us? And we marked out this level also as a last week to watch out as an area of resistance. Price surpasses that level and also traded a little bit above this. So what's our narrative on British pound USD? What are we looking at? Price still has room to go up if wishes. So the next place price might apparently run to, which we get down to our lower time frame, will be this level and maybe this other block, which is another block on the daily time frame. Or if we continue to go up, we look at for a level on the weekly, which is also other block on the weekly. So what's our narrative? Our narrative on British pound USD. Until we get to those levels, we are not looking at to sell. So let's drop on the daily time frame. This is what we had on the daily time frame. Like we said, price surpassed an order block on the weekly time frame, traded to this level, and then we have another closed completely this gap on the daily time frame, which is a good one for us. So price might apparently get to this level first, which is a level on the lower time frame. We are looking at liquidity to be run. Yes, price is at a key level where we want to expect price to sell. But for us on liquidity narrative, we want to sell, seeing price get into this, being drawn to this liquidity pool, which in a traditional way, we can look at it as a double top. So our liquidity lies on this level. We want to see price running liquidity this level. It might get a little bit higher to this other block, which would be a beautiful one, or get to that level. But first, we want to see price running out this liquidity to give us a reason to continue to sell as price has apparently getting to a level which is a key level for a sell, maybe rebalance itself to the downside of the market. So what are we expecting for us on liquidity narrative? Our narrative remains We want to see this level being run out to give us a reason to sell the market. Until then, we watch and see what the market is going to do. Market is at a place where it should or might sell a bit. But price has a room to also get to this other block, which is an other block on the daily time frame. So what does that mean? Also, this also is an area of liquidity pool or here, which is other block on the weekly, but it might not, we said, get to this place. Does not mean it could not get to that place. So we watch this level, liquidity lies here, liquidity lies here for us to take the trade a little bit down. So what is this level that we've mapped out? Let's go back to daily time frame. So here we are on the daily time frame. This was a level on the weekly time frame that price might act as a resistance in future if it started to go down. Watch out, no, as a support, sorry, in future. If price respects this level and started to go down, watch this level to add as a support at some point, not completely. So price, we want to see price running this level first to give us a reason to at least trade back a little bit to rebalance this leg or get to this level to trade back to rebalance this leg. So what is it for us? We said we wait as the market resume to give us an entry to sell the market at this level or at this level. If market continue to go down, we watch this level at least to give us a reason to see if we can take the trade here till we run to the level we've mapped out on British pound USD. So what's that for us? We are more of a selling at this level in British pound USD using from the higher time frame, which is the weekly time frame, to the daily time frame, and then to the lower time frame where we've already mapped out the areas where liquidity lies for us on British pound USD. So keep your eyes on this level this week on British pound USD. Remember to follow the map and not the opinion out there. Remember, what we are trading is choosing to go with the structure and not with speculation. That's for us on British pound USD this week. Let's see how that goes and have a lovely trading week in British pound USD. So what next? We move next to what we have in stock. Thank you. All right, so here we are on Euro USD, looking at Euro USD and what is it for us on Euro USD. Remember also this we prefer to take structure over speculations, and like we always said in all the pegs, this is not a prediction, is just using the advantage of what we have in the chart to map out liquidity and not our opinion or other opinion out there. So in Euro USD, what do we have? As at last week, this is what we had. It will start with the weekly time frame. Price apparently before the week before took out this weekly low and then started to go up. We are expecting price to rebalance itself on this fair value gap on the weekly time frame, which price has not gotten. So for us on liquidity narrative, this is liquidity narrative. So for us on liquidity narrative, the story remains that we want to see price getting to this level to give us a reason to sell, or it might get to this level. But the first point of interest for us remain the fair value gap on the weekly time frame. When price get to this level, we will start looking for reason to give us to take the market a little bit down. But if price surpasses this level, the next point of our story remains here. The story continues. So if we drop on the daily time frame on the Euro USD, this is what we had. Price got into that level. Was there any reason why price might not get to this level? I don't think so. So if we drop on a lower time frame, price apparently to me, let's start from the 4H. Was there any trade drive pattern? Not really. So price might apparently get to this level and might get to this level also, like we said. So where are the areas liquidity lies for us to get to this level? So for us, price, if we drop on a lower time frame, the story remains that we want to see price running out liquidity on this level to continue to get to this level. So these are the area we've mapped out liquidity pools. Liquidity lies on this level. Price might run to this level or even get back to this level, which is an order block on the daily time frame. Let's get through it. This is the daily time frame. As price broke out of this particular order block, it returns to it on Friday, which give me reasons to believe that price in our story will continue to get to this level. So if we drop on a lower time frame, as we can see, this is price returning back to that order block on the daily time frame. So we said liquidity lies on this level. We want to see price as a regime to trade with a bit lower, maybe run out liquidity here, run out liquidity here, run out liquidity here. It does not mean it must clear all this. It might also get to this level again and then reach to the draw on liquidity, which is this. Until price get to this level, we are not seeking to sell on Euro USD unless price gives us reason to change our narrative. But as at today, the Sunday the 5th, our narrative remains we want to see price get into this level first for us to start looking at to short the market until we don't know when price is going to get to that. It might be Monday, it might be Tuesday, but on that, the narrative remains we want to sell at this level or apparently at this level on Euro USD. And then we want the market to give us a reason to join this to this level, to join this trade at these zones that we mapped out, this level that we mapped out to get to this level before the sell remains. So that's why we said if we get here on Monday or on Tuesday, that means the narrative may apparently change for us to continue to sell this level. If market resume and get to this, remember we always use the word if because the market had to do what it had to do. All we have to do is to read the story that the market is telling us using the chart and then follow what the market says and not what we think. That's why we use the word if. So we map those levels on liquidity and watch them and see how price reacts to them or how price responds to them as the market resume. Our liquidity pools lies here to see this market being traded to this level to give us a reason to sell this market. Or if the market gets to this level, that's when we start thinking of selling. But if the market resume and get to this level, it gives us the reason to buy through until we get to our destination. These are the areas we are looking at, and this is the story we have this week using both our charts and our liquidity level, the structures and everything on Euro USD. Remember this to always follow the map. Do not follow people's opinion. Read the story that the market is telling you and always prefer to choose structure, not just speculation. This is what we have on Euro USD. Across all the pairs from Euro USD to British Pound USD to Nasdaq, we've been able to tell our story, our narrative of what we are looking at, both from the weekly time frame to the daily time frame and then to the lower time frame on Nasdaq, British Pound, Euro USD. That's what we have for you this week. That's our narrative. Follow the structure and not speculation. Until then, trust safe, and I will see you again. Thank you.